I am not Republican, I am not a liberal.
Hey.
Why the hell can't I just be American without getting political? The system gon' suppress us all, they don't care about the cost. How's this a democracy when we got communists in charge? Cancel culture Nazis, all they're missing is the swastikas. Honestly, this is a psychological holocaust. Pumping propaganda through the screen and straight into your brain. You ain't.
What is going down, world? Welcome to the 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast. I go by the name Black Pegasus, and we're back at it, yo. Tom MacDonald dropped a new joint, The Machine. And the picture of him promoting this gave me like Terminator 2 vibes. Like, all right, man. And what's interesting is as this is playing, you know that, I don't know how to explain, that somber music, like the main synth in this beat, is like, it's just this sound. Instantly, I was like, oh, Terminator 2. Like, you know what I mean? I could be tripping. I don't know. I ain't seen the video. I ain't heard the song. So we about to get into it. You guys, if you're ready, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let's go.
40-year-old boys are back in town. 40. The boys are back in town. 40-year-old boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast. Malt liquor for your ears. 40.
All right, y'all, let me get this logo down and pull the video up. Don't forget to support the original content on the channel. Just dropped the music video this Monday with Anthony Ray and Andy Rue. And it's kind of like a breakup relationship, laid back, slower type of joint. But I've been noticing a lot, like it was weird. Anyways, I got original content out, music videos. I'm working on I want to do like some type of game show on the channel. I know it sounds wild, but yeah, we're working on stuff. When you support the original content, it allows us to produce more of it. Shout out to all the members, too, before we get this reaction started. You guys are the realest, and I appreciate you. If you want to become a member, link in the description. No obligation, but to everyone who's a member, we really appreciate you, spending your hard-earned cash to support the channel. You know YouTube don't like reaction channels, so it means a lot. All right, let's get this popping, man. We're going to bring it back to the beginning. Tom sounds like he's getting on his, you know what I mean? All right, let's just see, man. Tom MacDonald, The Machine.
I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Why the hell can't I just be American without getting political? The system gon' suppress us all, they don't care about the cost. How's this a democracy when we got communists in charge? Cancel culture Nazis, all they're missing is the swastikas. Honestly, this is a psychological holocaust. Pumping propaganda through the screen and straight into your brain. You ain't on a plantation, but you definitely still a slave. Race theory is indoctrinating children. Tell blacks they're disadvantaged, tell whites they got white privilege. What a brilliant way to reinforce division. If whites believe they have it easy, they will never help you fight the system. And now they burning books in untraditional ways. They just traded newspapers for the digital age. Now the facts can be deleted with no physical flames. They just change the information and the truth gets erased. They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid. I am not
Yo, this is wild. Okay, one, I think I'm on to something with the Terminator 2 reference. So I only had that because the picture that Tom was using as a thumbnail to promote this on Facebook and YouTube, there's like this machine with red eyes, and he's like crawling. And as I'm hearing this track, it does, I don't know if you guys remember some of the sounds from Terminator 2 specifically Terminator 2. That's the vibe I'm getting from the beat, from the synth sounds of the track. Then it's called The Machine. Man versus Machine, Skynet. Now let's get into the lyrics. We know Tom's lyrical ability. Like he goes to these pockets where he can battle rap. He could write love songs. He can pretty much do it all. And this is one of the ones that has drawn me in, to Tom, because I've always enjoyed him putting this message out there in this moment of time, right? Because America is getting pretty wild. And anyways, the scheme he did with the whole Holocaust scheme, like that whole scheme ties together conceptually and with what he's talking about, the programming the brain. But I think the most important concept on here, where he talked about the digital age and changing, instead of burning books, is what he's saying. Instead of burning books and newspaper, Now all they do is click a button and they can change the information on the internet. And we saw that during 2020. They changed the definition of a few things that I won't even mention here because that's not my space, and YouTube gets crazy with the censorship, hence why he's saying it. But there's a couple things that we were told to take. One thing we were told to take during 2021, and they changed the definition of it to fit that narrative so more people, you guys should get what I'm talking about. And if you don't, well, it's okay. But that's the truth. What he's saying is the truth. I did this song called Black Panther, and I have a reference similar to that because it's very unique, because it's like they say Google fact checking and stuff, but who's in control of that? Well, the corporations are, these people that are writing the narrative. So of course it's going to fit that. Who fact checks the fact checkers is what I've always said. And I said that in a song I wrote a while ago, Black Panther, but it got suppressed by YouTube. Anyways, I love it. And the other very key important part of this verse, now there's a lot of things here, but he starts talking about race theory. And theories are just theories, right? I think everything in America is a pendulum. It swings back and forth, left and right, Republican, Democrat, right? We see this a lot. And I think there's extremes on both sides. And I think what they're doing is they're putting a microscope on the extremes on both sides and trying to use those to put both sides against each other. And when we talk about race theory, I think history needs to be taught, try to be taught with as much unbiased as possible. And that's for both sides. Because at one time or another, each side tries to hide things or amplify things that don't need to be hidden or don't need to be amplified. That's the best way I can put it, being in the middle, right? When he says, I'm not liberal Republican, that means you're moderate, right? That's the best way for me to give you a balanced perspective on what he said. All right, let's get into this. Tom MacDonald, The Machine.
To wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid. I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Progressive and traditional are hitmen hired to kill the individual. They label people red or blue, divide us, they don't ever help. They want you thinking left or right, so you ain't thinking for yourself. Go ahead and vote, cause both the parties are the same side. Two teams, one coach, controlled by the same guys. Left wing, right wing, both help the same bird fly. Brainwashing everybody at the same time. The internet was once a place that we could get our facts from. Now it's been monopolized, it's Google or it's Amazon. Who fact checking the fact checkers? I can answer that one. The people who control the narratives through the platforms. Let me break this down for you, simple as I can, Kate. They use social conditioning to put you in the rat race. It doesn't matter if you're first or third or if you're last place. You're still a rat and they're the cats who kill you so you can't escape. They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid.
I think the hook is solid, and I'm tripping out because he said, like, I must have got ahead of myself because he said in this rap song exactly what I was trying to convey to you guys in the first verse. Like, off of his first verse, I started saying something about who fact checks the fact checkers, or because I said that in Black Panther, and I said in that song I personally talk about who controls the narrative of the fact checkers, right? Corporations, big pharma. That's just the truth. I said it in that song. And so that's why I was going down that lane. And then he just says it. I'm like, bro, that's wild. That's wild. This is crazy. Now, you know what's interesting? Still getting the whole Terminator 2, the machine vibe, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Sarah Connor, John Connor. But yo, this song is reminding me of Brainwashed and The System. Different sounds sonically, but the messaging reminds me of The System and Brainwashed by Tom. And he tackles a bunch of these topics, and you know, that's a saying you hear who people who've been in politics and they're like burnt out, they're like, bro, it's two wings of the same bird. That's a saying that people say. It's like a quote. And the way he flipped it and made it rhyme, it's the truth, man. Because I tell you guys on the channel, during 2020, I started leaning right, like right wing or Republican in a sense, because they were the only ones speaking to the things I was concerned about in that time. And still in a lot of points, right, me being a little old school, more traditional values, but believing in God, all these different things, I'm like, I understand that. But I started seeing things from the right wing that I was like, they are two wings of the same bird. And essentially the second verse is just talking about the divisiveness of getting trapped up in a party. When you get trapped up with that, we can't really focus on the overall well-being of everyone, right? United States means united. So if we're divided, it's going to be tough. But I think the key is here is like finding this common ground, right? Because the concept of America is freedom, right? And we started off Christian nation, God-fearing country. But if the foundation of America is freedom, sometimes those freedoms will go against some of our Christian beliefs and certain things. So it's like, where do we find that balancing point to move forward and not go into these extremes, right? Like some of some of these progressive extremes are tearing apart our country. That's just the truth right now. And it's just like, there's middle ground where we can thrive and be great. And people are missing that. And I think he's hitting this on the nose. This is supposed to be a music reaction. But when Tom drops stuff like this, I mean, the music's great, but it's the lyricism. It's the message, the conversation that he's creating, and I want to be a conduit to that conversation. And I know my ideals and views might be different than people who, let's say, maybe look like me, right? Not necessarily. Let's not put everyone in a box or generalize too much. But I think it needs to be said by everybody needs to be able to have the conversation, and people need to be able to identify with other people. And I think being vocal is good at this time and setting the tone and setting the example. Anyways, Tom MacDonald, the machine. Let's go.
The government hates us, having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid. I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. I am just a man who knows they're scared of a nation that's thinking critical. They kill us or they lock us up for nothing like we're criminals. Divide us cause they know that unified we are invincible. Questioning the government's agenda is controversial, but promoting guns and liquor in our music is commercial. They're confusing us with pronouns they made up to make us triggered. You can call me what you want, but just don't call me late for dinner. School teaches you to learn and never teaches you to think. So you absorb misinformation, then you practice what they preach. You ain't free, can't you see that's how they want you to act? That's called conforming to the norm, you don't need freedom for that. I'm not Republican or liberal or left-wing or right-leaning. I took the red pills cause that's who's fighting for my freedoms. And you don't need to choose to be accepted, they both fake teams. Evil runs the world now like hell ain't got no vacancy. They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us, having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid.
Yeah, man. I mean, what can I say? He hit that out the park. He said he takes the red pill. He's not, right, left. He took the red pill, which is a reference to the Matrix, waking up from the Matrix. In his hook, he talks about, it's so crazy because in the streets, in the hood, the word woke was hijacked and turned into this like, oh, woke means right now it's like, yo, you're a progressive leftist or progressive liberal, like the type where you're like, yo, rolling around with Mao Zedong on your freaking T-shirt and like, yeah, communism works, bro. And it's like, it's kind of wild because woke was just like back in the streets, like, hey, stay woke, man. Stay woke, meaning keep your eyes open. This was something like, because you got to remember, there were street dudes who were like getting into Alex Jones, Immortal Technique, stuff like that, right? Which Immortal is definitely way more left-leaning. But still, that wake-up moment, essentially, this is where two worlds collide. People are going to think I'm crazy for saying this, but it's the truth. Where a Mortal Technique, just say example, a Mortal Technique, Rage Against the Machine over here, and then Tom MacDonald and whoever you want to put over here. This is where two worlds collide. They're saying the same freaking thing with different technical ways to get there. Essentially, they're saying the government's corrupt. They believe in this methodology. They believe in this methodology. But the one thing that they're both saying is that the government's corrupt. And they're using divisive tricks to divide us so we don't rise as a people to bring things back together. That's what they're saying. Now, in this space, can an extreme leftist rock with an extreme rightist? I don't even know if that's a word. I've only heard leftist. A right-wing person? Can they? You tell me. But what I will say is, as human beings in the human species, we have a lot more in common than we do that separates us. And I hope we're able to see that and maybe get to, how long have we been on this planet, like living together, and we're still at war with each other? Maybe it's just human nature. Maybe it's just nature in general. I think about this a lot, you guys, tribalism. Because when the race topic comes up, I try to identify, was this racial? Was this because of our roots of tribalism? Like, identifying someone looking different, and that could be a threat to our tribe. Makes me think a lot. Sometimes I get lost in those thoughts too, because, I'm mixed race, and some people are, well, I don't see color and all these things. But when you go outside in the real world's the real world. And I don't feel oppressed or all these things that people, create these narratives, but it is unique. I've seen some unique things growing up, and, I always want to I think because I'm mixed, I want to bring people together. That's what I've always wanted to do. And being in like a military family, I wasn't in the military, so don't give me that credit, but my pops was, and being around military folk and just being around a lot of different people, I've always wanted to bring people together. But then sometimes I wonder, does that go against our nature? When I went to China, and I was like, holy smoke, it's like I had a revelation, like there's only Chinese people here. And this is how the world was at the beginning. It's just like, in this area, there were these people. In this area, it's just interesting. It's thought-provoking. It makes me think a lot. I get in my philosophy bag. I don't have a stance yet. I just think about these things. And anyways, I'm rambling right now, but good thoughts, man. Try to keep the vibration tight. I'm on some other stuff lately, man. I got a little one on the way, man. May should be having another little baby, God willing, and the creek don't rise. And I got to strive to be a better man, better human being just in general, and then help create a better place for them. So, I already got a daughter. So, yeah, I think about these things. And Tom gets that conversation started, and I really enjoy it. You guys, let me know what I got, what I missed. I'll catch you on the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe. 40.
Thank you for being some man. 40 years down the road, back again. 40. FUQ, boy.